There are some days when just one thing, whether I see it or hear it or have a vision of it, that no matter how many days I've been happy and confident and faithful in myself and us and spirit, that the emotions just come crashing down on me like a tsunami and wrap me up in every tangled heartstring that remind me, no matter how many other wonderful things are going on, how much I miss you, how hard it is to know that you go home to a house that isn't ours, to a bed far away, and share your life with a family that isn't ours, and go through so much pain and hopefully some happiness, but in either situation, it isn't shared in the 3D. I feel it, I feel all of it, but I don't get to share it with you. When I work and my work takes me past your work, I feel a little more heartbreak in knowing that I can't stop by and I can't say hello. And that reminds me of all the times I've seen you and I couldn't hug you. And of all the nights I haven't been able to share with you what's gone on in my day. And all the times that I've just wanted to hear you complain. Which is so funny, isn't it? After all the complaining I did about your complaining. And, I mean, it can be a day that I've been happy or months. And when these moments come, sometimes all I can do is sit in my car and hold on. And just allow the tears to flow. And just to know that every moment they come is just another indication that my love for you has always been true. And sometimes all I can do is just wait for the waves to crash into me and crash into me and crash into me and remind myself that Spirit is working with us both. And to know that you feel this too. That there are many moments when the emotions come up and bite you where you didn't expect. Pull you right back in. As if it's only the day you left. And I know there was a lot of misunderstandings about that day and the days before. A lot of miscommunications, misunderstandings. I know that you've needed this time. That's why I knew it needed to be done. There were many things we both needed to learn and experience. And even though my heart knows that union is coming, it's still hard sometimes. Especially when I sleep alone in our bed. When I sleep in any space. Sometimes it's the couch. Sometimes it's the RV. Sometimes I just lay a blanket out on the grass, whether day or night. And you know what always gets me is that I miss so much being able to wrap my cold feet around yours and warm them up. And I miss being able to warm your cold feet. And I know you miss how I used to really do it, I would try to wrap my feet up around every nook and cranny in your feet until they were toasty warm. And in any moment that I felt called to stay up, do my writing or my cards, I'd wrap your toesies in the blanket up tight so that even if I wasn't right there with my feet wrapped around yours, that you still felt that love from me. And it's funny, sometimes when I wake up, I remember the days that you'd be annoyed that I wouldn't be up with you and you had to go, but you would remake the bed over me and make sure that I had the blankets tucked around me and I was warm before you'd kiss me and tickle my face with your overgrown mustache. And to wake up and know that I've spent so many months without feeling that hurts. To know how many drives you've taken that I haven't been able to enjoy with you. To have had so many experiences of my own that I've not been able to share with you. There are so many things that come into my mind on the sad days. And it's funny because you mentioned regret. And regret is an interesting emotion. It's definitely, I think it more so shows us where we regret our own behaviors. And sometimes where we regret allowing ourselves to fall into darkness and get into karmic entanglements. But in the long run, I've always believed that regret shows you've been living your life. Because there are plenty of people, you included, who have not lived their lives to the fullest because they fear that they might do something they'll regret. And the truth is, if you have a life that has some regrets in it, that means that you've lived your life. You've made mistakes and had successes and learned things. And you get to a point where you've learned so much that you look back and you think, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it so differently. Sometimes that's what wraps me up on the sad days, is like, I know that we needed this separation to be able to see things like that, and I look back and I think, oh, how I could have held space so much differently. How I could have understood you in such a different way. How I could have gotten out of my own head and showed you so many things that either I thought you already knew, or that you needed to see when you were trying to project who you thought you needed to be, when all you really needed from me was a reminder of who you really are, and that who you really are, flaws and all, is more than enough and always and forever will be. Though the irony in that is, without the regret, without the space, without these days of deep emotional waves, I couldn't have learned that. I couldn't have known. Just like I know that without the situationships you've been in and all the hedonistic desires you've pursued, that you couldn't appreciate me and really see me for who I am if it had not been for the separation and those regrets. for the days that I know that you get caught up in the emotions too. When they jump up and bite you where you don't expect. I miss you. I miss you like I don't even know what to describe it as. It's like being a wild ocean fish that's been captured and put in some fish tank in a dentist office in the middle of a concrete jungle. You are my home. No matter where you are, or how far away you are, no matter what else is going on around me, whether we talk or don't, that's how I feel. And I know you feel the same way. You can stubbornly try to deny it all you want. I know you do. I know you. And I know that you're learning what you need to. I know you're growing. And I know that when the sad days come for you, that you think about all that I have done and been and the space I've held for you, and you really see me, which is really what I wished for so many nights when we were together and when we've been apart. Just for you to see me and not see me as some replication of all the toxic feminines that you've experienced in your life that made you assume that you know exactly what every woman wants and that all of them are trying to hurt you or pull something over you. No, when in the moments when you see me, the individual, the the camel who can close her eyes and nose and sit through your sandstorms, the one who can speak to you in rhymes and lyrics, who knows what's happening even when there's no way for me to know, who appreciates you. I know you're seeing me more and more, but there still are days that even though I know we're getting closer, that it still breaks me. Those are the days I have to survive.